Hi, my name is Serena Hopkins. I'm the Executive Director of the Canadian Career Development Foundation, and I'm joined by my dear friend and mentor, Lynn Bezanson, who is the most recent winner of the Etta St. John Wildman Award. So I wanted to start by asking you, you had a pan-Canadian and international nominating committee, and of course, were ultimately awarded the Etta St. John Wildman Award by SARIC. And just love to know what it means to you to have been nominated and to be given this award.
Well, Serena, it was a shock to me. I mean, I had no expectation at all that I was going to be nominated for the award. And I remember when I was first shown I was first told about the award, and then I was shown the package that had been prepared, and there were letters. I get teary just thinking about it. There were letters from across Canada and from globally, from people in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, people that I've respected all my life who had said very nice things about me and my contribution. And that package is something, it blew my mind, quite frankly, but I will treasure it. And I have read those letters now probably 3 or 4 times. And I remember one of the lines of one of the letters, and somebody actually said, "Could we have had a better ambassador?" And that just took my breath away, so that was exceptionally meaningful to me. I mean, these are people that I have looked up to, respected, admired, and in many ways not felt equal to, in some ways, and to have them return respect and I would say even admiration for me was beyond anything I could have expected. So it was a great honor, and I treasure the package. I will treasure it forever.
So now you have been given this award for lifetime achievement, and you have had a long and distinguished career, as somebody said to you a long time ago, decades and decades of time.
When I was a lot younger, they said that. Imagine what they'd say now.
So I'm curious, Lynn, as you reflect back over your career, what makes you feel most proud about what you have achieved in your career?
How long do I have? No.
About 3 minutes now.
No. That's not an easy question, but I'm going to say 2 or 3 things. One thing I am exceptionally proud of is CCDF, the Canadian Career Development Foundation. I mean, we started off as a tiny organization with 3 years of funding to do a pan-Canadian research and development program for youth, and with no expectation. And here we are now, how many years later? A lot of years later. And we have not had government support for a very long time. It's almost unheard of for a non-governmental organization to have found a way to be so respected that we have achieved contracts at the provincial level, at the territorial level, at the national level, at the international level. I mean, it's almost unheard of in my experience. So I am immensely proud. And I think CCDF now, and that's under your leadership, has an international reputation that is, I don't know who would match it across Canada right now, possibly SARIC, possibly, but really it's in a league of its own in terms of how it's managed to fund itself and stand proud. So I'm immensely proud of CCDF. In terms of what I've actually accomplished, apart from the survival of CCDF, I think the single thing that I felt most invigorated by and most encouraged by was our focus on the evidence base in career development practice. And, for so long, we had been counting bodies and numbers of interviews and counting nothing that, in my view, was really meaningful. And when we were given some funding to do research, and we did research with the front lines, and we found out some very exciting things. One of the things I remember very strongly is that for many, many clients, if you give them a good assessment of where their strengths are and what they need to work on, and you give them some tools, they can do a lot on their own. Like they can develop autonomy and independence and confidence and begin to really move forward. They don't need us all the time. And I think that was a real gift in terms of learning that about our client base, that there's a lot in our client base to really deeply respect around that. Just give them room to grow and they can grab on. So that's very meaningful to me. And then when we discovered, but we didn't discover, we fought hard to build a system where we didn't just demonstrate outputs, we demonstrated progress. And it's to be seeing that we are tracking progress and practitioners are getting credit for progress, not just outcomes. We're not just counting numbers of people's in jobs. We are counting progress towards, and what that does for the practitioner and what that does for the client in terms of confidence and growth, I think is exceptional. So I'm very, very proud of those. And I guess that if I could make one final comment, the fact that we did manage to be part of this very tiny group that was international in scope and brought policy and practice together, and research together, those three pillars, we brought them together in an international setting, which was a working session. Mm-hmm. Those were magical experiences, hard work, mm-hmm. But I think together we created something quite incredible, and it's still sustaining. You know, we have an International Center for Career Development and Public Policy. It's always operating on a shoestring, but you know, that's the life in our field. And but it's operating for many, many years now. So I am very proud of that as something that I helped to start, and it seems to have a pretty solid base and it will continue. So that's probably enough, but I mean, I could go on, but those are things that there are other things I'm very proud of. I'm proud of the field. You know, I said that in my acceptance speech when we demanded a lot of the field, as I said in that at Connexus this year, the field showed up. Yeah. They did the work, mm-hmm. They showed up, they did extra work on the side of their desk because it mattered. And it mattered, their clients mattered to them, the field mattered to them. And I felt very proud of the front lines, you know, and what they do, and it's not, and especially now it is not easy times. And they're hanging in, and they're hanging in well. So
last question.
Okay. Am I going on too much?
Our field is getting more attention than it ever has before. Yeah. And that's been a long fight to get that recognition. And I'm wondering, as you think about our field now and looking into the future, what makes you most optimistic or excited about the future?
I think right now in Canada, what's making me most excited is the framework that was put together a few years back. I mean, that's world class. There's nothing like it in the world today, you know, but it is bringing together all the provinces and all the territories. And there's a sense of increasing professionalism and pride in qualifying, in getting more training, in showing up for all kinds of things. And we have never had, there's been, in my experience, there was often competition, you know, and not cooperation. We're in a new spirit now. And I've been on conference calls that you've chaired where we have all the provinces and all the territories all talking together about what they want to commonly achieve. And it is around professionalism and growth and care for the clients, but also care for the competencies of staff and making their lives not easier, but more recognized. Mm-hmm. They need more recognition than they get very often, I believe.
So I would say, on behalf of the nominating committee, a huge thank you to Sarek for your leadership.
Yes, absolutely.
And to you, Lynn, so well deserved.
Thank you very much.
Well deserved.
Thank you. I've appreciated this. It's a lot easier to talk with you than be trying to say something for 5 minutes into a screen. So thank you for asking such good questions. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.